So in this video I'll be showing you how to make this wire. And as you can see, it's 3 different colors, and this is all one piece though. And I used it to make this ring, and you can see each color in the ring where I put this wire on. So basically all we're going to have to do is take 3 different materials of wire and put them all together and make sure they all stay together like this. And I'll show you how to do that in this video. So this is called Mokume-gane, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but that's as close as I can get. And it's normally done in sheet metals, where you basically fold everything over itself to make different layers and different looks to it. It's kind of like Damascus steel, but with copper, brass, gold, basically the non-ferrous metals. So how I made this particular piece of wire, I used a rolling mill with the parts in it for making wire, a little vise, you can use any size vise, it doesn't really matter, and a drill. And same thing, you can use just about any drill. You won't be able to use a Dremel though, unless you can get one that has more torque than normal, because you need a lot of torque to turn the wires. So for my materials, I'll be using 3 different pieces of wire, and basically it'll just be brass, a piece of sterling silver, and a piece of copper, and all of these are 16 gauge, so I made sure all of them are the exact same size, and I cut them to the same length. So as you can see, this is as thick as one of these wires. So this little bit right here is the same length too as this little wire. And it's probably going to be a lot longer because all of these are going to be combined together to make this. So you don't really need much material to make this kind of wire, but it does take a lot of effort. And the first thing we're going to have to do is anneal all these pieces so we can soften them up, so when we twist them all together, there's no problems. So I'm going to do that now, just putting them on a surface for soldering or heating, and then I'm going to go over them with a torch. So you want to go just until they start to turn red. And then just pop them off and put them into some water to quench them. So now they're all gross looking. And I did overheat my silver a little bit, so it did melt a little, but it didn't get out of shape too much, so it's still completely usable. So I'm going to put all these into the pickling solution to clean everything off, and then we'll start to put them all together. So after getting them out of the pickling solution, I took a little bit of sandpaper to them to clean them up a little bit more, and you can see that the silver has a bunch of pitting to it now, which, like I said, this is going to be fine. But you'll also notice that these are all not straight anymore because they're really easy to bend. So if you want to make your wire completely straight, you can take something like a hammer that has a flat surface and a flat hard area like this, put it on top of it and kind of just push down and then roll it, and you'll straighten out your piece. There you go, all straight again. And of course this only works with round wire. Okay, so now all I need to do is take my vise and take the 3 wires and clamp them in place. It doesn't matter what order you stack them in there either. Just try to make them as even as possible. So, like that. And then I'm going to take my drill and put all these wires into the chuck of the drill and try to get them as centered as possible. And then just tighten it down so it won't lose its grip. Put it on basically drilling forwards, and then hold this as don't pull too tight, but you want it to have some tension, and then pull the trigger. About that much. If you go any more than this, you'll start making weird kinks all through it, and you want it to be as uniform as possible. So there we are. That's the first step, basically. So all this you can cut off, and all this you can cut off. But not until we go through. I'm going to solder this with just some hard solder to make sure everything sticks together through all the other processes. So I'm just going to use some flux and paint it over everything and make sure to get it in all little grooves. And then as this is all wet, I'm going to start placing pieces of hard solder. And then once you have it all done like that, you can pick it up, quench this, and then put it in your pickling solution again to clean it all up. And then we're going to use the roller mill with it. Okay, so here it is out of the pickling solution. It still has a little bit of black on it, but that should be fine. I'm going to cut off the ends real quick with the jeweler saw, so everything's as uniform as possible. So there we are. And now I'm going to put it through the roller mill. So this is my roller mill. It's one of the cheaper ones that you can get, but they're still pretty expensive for the most part. And I've had it for a while now, and they're still about $300. This particular one came with a bunch of different rollers. So it came with some for making sheet metal, some for making wire, and some for making textures. And basically what you're going to want to do is put this into whatever one it will not go through with these completely closed and not putting too much pressure on these. Also, if you do get one of these, make sure to bolt it down. I had a great suggestion on getting some studs to put into the table so I can unbolt it and remove it because I'm limited on space. But I haven't got them yet, so it's still not bolted down yet. So I'm just going to roll it through the mill, working its size down. And doing this will actually square the wire, so you're going to have to turn it both ways or it'll just end up being like a weird diamond shape. And I want this to get to the same size as basically the starting size of one of the wires. So I need to measure this as I go. So now it's 1.6 and 1.7. And I want it to be about 1.3 millimeters. As you go through doing this too, it's going to harden the metal. So if it gets too hard to work with, you're going to want to re-anneal the whole thing. Okay, so this is about the right size for it. If you wanted to, you can stop here and call this done. And you'd have just a normal kind of candy stripe through everything. Kind of picks up on camera. The brass is going to look like copper for right now because of the heating process and everything, and putting it through the pickling solution, but once we clean this up, you'll be able to see all three colors. And I also want to straighten this out, and I'm going to use a similar technique to what I did with the round wire, but I'm just going to lightly tap it down instead of rolling it, and then I'm going to slide this across it to help straighten everything out. So with that done, I'm going to heat this again and anneal it. So here it is after coming out of the pickling solution and sanding it down a bit and straightening it out. You might be able to see the different colors going through it now, but this is only the first go, and I'm going to do this like 5-6 more times. So I'll show you this next step, and then I'll fast forward through the rest of it, because it's basically the same thing over and over again. And you can stop at any time or continue going for whatever look you're going for. So I have my vise all set up again, but I need to fold this over. And what I'll do is find its center point and just kind of bend it over until both ends meet up. And then for this problem here, I'm going to hammer that closed. So there we go. Now this will go into my vise, and I'm just going to put as little as I can get in here so I lose as little material as possible. And then put the other end, that's folded over, into my drill. And then just like last time, pull the trigger and make it all wind up. There we go. And you could even use the wire like this if you wanted to. So what I'm going to do now is heat this and anneal it again, and then run it through my rolling mill. So yeah, that's about it. It's pretty straightforward for the most part. It's just a lot of tedious work and doing stuff over and over again. But now you know how you can make your own, and as you can see in my ring, it looks really nice when you actually incorporate it into other things. And I think it gives a really unique look to it, seeing that I haven't seen anything out there using a type of wire like this. So if you liked my video, please feel free to leave a thumbs up. It lets me know that you actually like my videos and to keep doing what I'm doing. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below and I'll get to every single one of them. Other than that, I make videos every week, and if you want to be alerted to when I actually post a video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!